Hey man, I'm Jusko from ProudMoney.com. Can adding an authorized user to your credit card hurt your credit? That's what we're going to tackle in this video. Now, someone asked this question a little while back in the comments section to another of my videos, and it sort of surprised me because usually when people ask questions about authorized users, it's always from the authorized user's perspective. What can they get out of it? How can they improve their credit score by being an authorized user? But in this case, it was a person thinking about adding someone to their credit card as an authorized user and wanting to know if there was any way that adding that person could hurt their credit score. Now, we actually could interpret that question a couple ways. The first way is, when I add an authorized user to my credit card, is there anything in that person's credit history that is somehow going to now impact mine? If I have an 800 credit score and I add somebody that has a 500 credit score onto my credit card as an authorized user, is some of their past bad credit behavior going to somehow rub off on me and hurt my credit score? And the answer is no. Anything that a person has done in the past with their own credit, in their own credit history, is not going to impact you when you add them as an authorized user. It is your account and it is your history. Nothing they have done is going to impact you, so you cannot hurt your credit simply by adding somebody else to your card, regardless of how terrible their credit history might be. And then another way you could look at this question is, when I add someone as an authorized user, can their behavior with the credit card somehow hurt my credit? And when we look at it from that perspective, we really have to take a step back and talk about how an authorized user actually works on a credit card. So if you are the credit card holder and you are thinking about adding someone as an authorized user, what you are saying to that authorized user is, hey, you can use my credit card and I will pay for it. And you're also telling the credit card company, hey, add this person onto my account, send them a credit card that they can use, and I will take all the responsibility for paying for it. So the authorized user is not on the hook for anything. You are on the hook for everything. Now, you may have a verbal agreement with the person that you added as an authorized user that they would pay you back for charges that they put onto the card. They're going to write you a check or they're going to Venmo you for their piece of the charges that are on the card, but ultimately all the responsibility is on you. And if that person doesn't follow through with that verbal agreement, doesn't matter. Good luck calling up the credit card company and saying, hey, my brother said that he was going to pay for the groceries when I added him as an authorized user and he didn't do it. Well, the credit card company is going to say, sounds like a personal problem to me, but the authorized user is not responsible, you are. So bringing that back around to whether the authorized user can hurt your credit, they can't do it directly because the power to pay off that credit card bill is all in your hands. They don't have any responsibility to do so. However, if they took your card and they ran up a whole lot of charges and you're all the way up to the credit limit or close to it, well, then that could hurt your credit if you can't afford to pay all of those charges off. If you suddenly have a high credit utilization ratio, you're using a very high percentage of your available credit, well, then that can hurt your credit score, at least in the short term. Worse would be if the limit was really high and it was run up so high that you couldn't even make the minimum payment. You didn't have the money to do that. Well, then obviously then that would be a late payment or a default on the credit account, which would be much worse. In most cases, even if you have somebody who's not very responsible as an authorized user, you're probably not going to get in that situation, and probably the hit to your credit would be short term until you can get things paid down and of course get rid of that authorized user. But of course, none of that is directly related to the authorized user being on your card. That is a matter of whether they used your card responsibly, and even more so, whether you were able to pay off the purchases that they made. But ultimately, you took the responsibility for those payments when you added the authorized user to your card. So no, authorized user directly cannot hurt your credit score, but obviously if their behaviors are bad enough that you find it difficult to pay your bills, that's when the problems would start. Questions, comments, put them in that comment section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching, and as always, please go to ProudMoney.com, where we do credit card reviews and we talk personal finance, we talk deals and all sorts of other fun stuff too. But if you're not going to leave a comment or you're not going to go to the website, you should watch this video next.